So let's talk about Coronado. So we didn't care where we stayed for this trip. We went with Coronado because it was the cheapest of the moderates. Mm-hmm. We had experience staying there. We used to stay there for Christmas before we changed over to Port Orleans French Quarters. And really the only reason why we changed over to Port Orleans French Quarters is because Coronado was just getting a little stale to us.
Right.
So we booked back in February, and 2 or 3 weeks later they announced the construction. So I was obviously concerned. I mentioned on last episode I called and requested to change the room. The cast member assured me that we would be placed away from the construction and near the transportation. And she came through on her promise. Mm-hmm. We were placed in Casitas 4, which in my opinion is one of the better buildings, location-wise.
Yeah, it was great.
It was about a quarter-mile walk from the lobby and the Pepper Market. It was right next to bus stop 2, which is the first stop going to the parks. Mm-hmm. And as promised, it was nowhere near the construction. I will say, after getting there, the construction was not noticeable at all.
No.
They have the area fenced in with a facade when you're driving in. But otherwise, I wouldn't have known. There was no sound. There was no dust. No big construction vehicles. Even by the Pepper Market, we were sitting out for a little while.
Couldn't hear anything.
Couldn't hear it. I mean, that could change. But overall, nothing stood out. There was nothing in your sight line. You know, you could look from our building and you saw a swan and dolphin and the Epcot area that way. That was cool. I never noticed that. Mm-hmm. But, you know, there was nothing affecting our stay. There was nothing where we would say, oh, we made a mistake staying there. Disney really messed up here doing the construction. Whereas at Caribbean Beach, it's a whole different story. But as for our stay, lots of good, some not so good.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, we had a great room location. We were close to transportation, the fitness center, and the spa. The quiet pool was over there. We had a short walk to the lobby and the Pepper Market. In my opinion, Coronado is wonderfully themed.
I like it.
Many complain that there's not enough nods to Disney there, and it's true. Mm-hmm. It doesn't. I mean, you don't feel like you're in Disney when you're there.
No, you don't.
And I think that's a positive in the sense that they did a great job theming it. Mm-hmm. And it's also obviously a negative, but it's also due to the fact that it is a convention center. They don't want to make it too Disney because they need to keep a bit of professionalism. But when it comes to making you feel like you're in the Southwest, they knock it out of the park. Mm-hmm. The theming from the lobby to the walkways to the design, it's perfect. And we both vacationed to, I guess, Southwest, going to Nevada and to Utah.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of is. I drove through Arizona toward the Grand Canyon, and this really feels like you're in the Southwest. The grounds are all well kept. The plants are all beautifully manicured.
They were doing work when we were there, you know, just trimming the grass and the hedges and they do a good job at keeping up that, you know. Yeah,
there's the pebble gardens and the cacti, and the lobby is really nice. You have the big fountain in the middle of the lobby. I did go for a few walks around the area to try to capture content for the blog, and it really does transport you. The Pepper Market may be one of the better food courts on property.
Yeah.
Again, it has that Southwest influence. I'm a fan of peppers and spicy food, which I know you're not.
No. More cilantro than anything else, but I could do without the peppers, yep.
I would say we both enjoy the food. First day we got, that chorizo egg bowl?
Which I liked. I mean, I had it with no cilantro. You had it with cilantro, but it was good. I mean, we also had breakfast. It was closer to 11, I want to say. Mm-hmm. So by that point, someone like me, who's not the biggest breakfast eater, I could do without it. To me, it was kind of nice. Like, it was like a little brunch. The way it was. It had it was like grounded chorizo, and there was still egg in there. There was cheese. You know, like I said, I didn't get the cilantro, but it was a good mix of both things, and it was a pretty big sized portion.
Yes, it was very big. Think. Then there was the room, and here's where it goes a bit downhill. So we stayed in a standard room, so we weren't expecting the Ritz.
No,
but it's been a while since we've stayed at Coronado. Before Beach Club, we stayed at Port Orleans French Quarters, and this may have been the worst room we stayed in a while. Mm-hmm. We'll leave Beach Club out of this for now, as we're going to try to compare it apples to apples. But the room just felt dated.
Very dated.
And you were immediately drawn to the bathroom because Port Orleans French Quarters did have the double sink. Mm-hmm. Coronado Springs did not, and it had a single sink that was very low.
Yeah, and I'm a little taller. I mean, I'm not obnoxiously tall, but I'm about 5'9", and, you know, the sink was maybe a little bit past below my waist, and it was like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to hunch over and now brush my teeth to wash my face to do all that, and I'm like...
The bathroom was, I don't want to say it was gross, because it wasn't, but it felt old. No one it's an old bathroom. Yeah. The door didn't lock or close properly. The handle was broken. The hinges had mildew on, or something on them. It was green. The shower curtain wasn't long enough, so the shower leaked and caused flooding in the room.
It was almost like the middle of the lake in the Coronado. It could have been turned.
The beds were not comfortable. It felt like sleeping on an old guest bed.
Oh my God. The pillows were too flat. And I used 2 pillows, and it was still too flat.
And I slept on my side and woke up with my arm was numb.
Yeah.
Also, your bed was too close to the wall. So our mom had trouble getting up because there was maybe 6 inches between the bed and the wall. And my biggest gripe, which we kind of alluded to already, is you're at a business convention resort. And I get that we were in a standard room, but not one USB port. Mm-mm. The electrical outlets were all dated, as you said. And even the Wi-Fi was spotty. So I spent most of my trip using cell phone data. We've now gone over our cell phone data plan. And to me, that can't happen. And I get that you're renovating the resort, but it's 2017. No USB ports. I mean, I had my iPhone, my camera, my portable charger, my wireless headphones, and they all had to share one USB plug that I almost didn't bring. Yeah. Because my last few stays at Disney, they've had the desk with the USB ports. And to bring the conversation back to Beach Club, when we did a podcast, got together over on Survived Is, which led to this podcast, I mentioned that if you were to blindfold me and bring me into a room at Beach Club, I wouldn't know the difference between a deluxe and a moderate. And I didn't see the value in upgrading upgrading.
Right.
I stand corrected. You definitely noticed the difference in size, the amenities, and the quality of the room. Overall, we had a good stay.
Oh, yeah.
We only slept and showered in the room, and we spent most of our day in the parks. So it wasn't a huge deal breaker, but that room was rough.